Hey strong people, Kalle Beck here from StartingStrongman.com, and the first day of the Arnold Strongman Classic is over. It was deadlift day, and why did I even make predictions? Again, all of this is just for fun, and none of it basically comes true. After day one, the main thing that was consistent is that half-thor looks unstoppable. So the day started off, there was a big build-up. They're setting the stage. Rogue live streamed it on their YouTube and Instagram, and I think they did a very good job with that. They played, some of their past videos and content from it, like the making of the elephant bar, which there's a little filler, gives you a background of what to expect. They talked about past lifts going on. The commentating team is the same from Arnold Santa Monica, which I think does a very good job. I saw some people complaining about them on Starting Strongman Facebook group, but I feel like people are going to complain about the live stream commentators anywhere, no matter who it is. It was a little different where they're doing the round system, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It definitely gave the athletes more time to rest, and having it be the first event, we were likely to see the most weight ever pulled on an elephant bar, and maybe 500 kilos. Some of the surprising things, I'd say, just going through everything, was how Mariusz Kiliszkowski's his deadlift actually looked very improved. He ended up with 871, which on his third attempt, which I'm pretty sure is a PR for him. I don't know if he's ever hit 400 kilos. And because Alexey Novikov went for just over 400 kilos and missed it, a little bit of that gamesmanship, you can't change your attempts just after. Kiliszkowski actually ended up in 8th place, which I think is pretty much just about best case scenario for him. And unfortunately, part of that was because JF Caron, he had an injured hamstring and pulled out of Arnold Santa Monica. And, I saw he was saying that was healed up. Just looks like that wasn't the case. I think he opened his deadlift a little low, so it must have been bothering him somewhat. Hopefully, JF heals up. It's just unfortunate. And now we have 9 competitors. If he wasn't healthy going in, it'd be nice if Jitch Kramer got the chance, the alternate, but just how these things go sometimes. Hopefully JF heals up and is fine. That's an unfortunate. He pulled over 1,000 pounds on the elephant bar last year and zeroed the event this year, and just injuries. He competed a lot in 2018, so it definitely took its toll. Hopefully he has some time to rest and get ready for Worlds coming up in a couple months. Belshak had a third pole, hit 891 for 7th place overall, and he looked fired up about that. Ronald Hanla missed his third attempt, I feel, but looked very solid at 950. Martins went 970 on his second, which ended up for 5th place. He went for 1,000, which was probably, he wanted 1,001, and going for that was probably more thinking that the people ahead of him were going to hit more than that, and also just wanting to finally hit 1,000-pound deadlift. It wasn't there. Shivlikov opened at 950-ish, which was just under his PR that made blood splatter everywhere last year. I think that was like 972. He hit 974 on, I think it was his second, and then missed a higher attempt on his third. He tied for third with Jerry Pritchett, who opened with 974 and just looked so easy. He went for a big jump of, I think it was 1030 on his second, and it just looks like he had a hamstring injury, which is unfortunate. It looked like the strength was there, just sometimes the body's not willing to cooperate. Brian Shaw had a very strong 1021 second attempt, and it was a little slow. He went for a little bit more than half-thor, on his third, and it looks like his hamstring bothered him a little bit again. He kind of got thrown forward over the bar. Yeah, it's hard having a max deadlift with so much on the line when everyone's thinking about that 500 kilos. And then Thor just looked, he hit his 1045 on his second, and it looked effortless, and that's the most. He breaks his own elephant bar deadlift record for his third. He ends up going for the 500. There was a slight hesitation. You saw he looked amped up. And when he was strapped in, he went to pump, and it looked like usually we're about where he'd start to go, and go. You have that hesitation like, oh crap, it's heavy. Because it is. And I think the mental side is just as important as the physical. I know Eddie Hall's talked about that in the past and just believing in the lift. And I think it just it could be my own interpretation, like there's just that little bit of that doubt in his mind that he could get it, and he pulled it and just wasn't enough. He didn't get as good of a pull. Kind of rushed his setup. But geez, he's still the strongest deadlifter in the world at this moment. Eddie's there. I heard he's filming his Eddie Hall Strongman documentary, the second one. They're doing a 2. The first one was phenomenal. If you haven't watched it, you should. So that'll be good, and I'm sure this is good footage, and everyone hyping up to go after his record, and then to miss it makes for very good filming for his documentary. But Hafthor wins the whole event with 10:45. Shaw in second with 10:21. So we only got 2 1,000-pound deadlifts. Only 2. Come on, strongman people. That it was still, more people attempted it, just wasn't quite there. And then we went into the Husafeld, which that's a very brutal event, which I don't think I gave enough credit to. And it was a pretty quick turnaround. All these guys, it's a very long event doing a max deadlift. Then they have to go into the Husafeld stone carry. They carved, you saw the documentary, the video they put up on the Rogue's YouTube channel showing the process of making this Husafeld stone. They went to the same farm. They had to helicopter in stones. They had to ship it through crate. They go to some guy who makes monuments in Columbus, and he carves it all from hand. They 3D print a styrofoam mold of the original, and they take all these things, and it looked just like the original. And then, Alexey Novikov was the first to go, and he ended up with 211 feet 6 inches, which ended up good enough for second place. And then pretty much everyone else just kept falling right below him. And you could tell the athletes that had deadlift misses or very hard third deadlifts, it for sure took something out of them for this Husafeld stone carry, because they already have like a hamstring twinge, their lower back's already pumped. Then trying to carry I think it's 186 kilos, it's like 400-ish pound rock for max distance is brutal on the hamstrings and glutes and low back. And you could tell, it pretty much, it's almost reverse order of heaviest deadlifts compared to heaviest deadlifts attempted compared to placings here. It really, everything flopped, and just any predictions anyone have is not how day one ended, other than Hafthor being in first place. He won the event he was the only person to be able to get above Alexey Novikov of the Ukraine's distance, 218 feet 11 inches. He was the current world record holder on the actual Husafeld stone in Iceland. I don't know if that distance beats it or not. I don't think it was, but I think when he broke that record, he hadn't just attempted 500 kilos just within the hour. Jerry Pritchett ended up in last place with 95 feet 5 inches. Brian Shaw got 8th, the 104 feet 1 inch. Again, I think both of their hamstrings or something was affected from their deadlift attempts that they missed. Mikhail Shivlikov, 132 feet 6 inches. Belshak, 180 feet 8 inches for 6th. The other surprising one was Kielszkowski getting 182 feet 1 inch for 5th place. Most people, myself included, predicted him to get first or second in this event. He also had a little hamstring twinge, looked like on his second attempt, so I don't know how that affected them. I wouldn't think that most of the athletes here trained heavy deadlifts immediately followed by the Husafeld stone. They probably should have if they didn't, and I think Martins Lisis definitely did. He ended up in 4th place, about 5 feet further than Kielszkowski. Ronald Hanla is doing great. I said he was the dark horse going into this to get, and I predicted he's going to end the top 5, and he's having a great contest. He's just sitting there very consistent, getting 3rd or 4th places, 193 feet, 3 inches, and the overall score after Bjornsson has a 7-point lead over 2nd place. Hafthor Bjornsson has a full 20 points, followed by Ronald Hanla and Martins Lises tied for 2nd with 13 points, followed by Brian Shaw with 12 points for 4th, Mikhail Shivlikov 11.5 points, Alexey Novikov, the rookie, 11 points, Jerry Pritchett 9.5 points, Mateus Belchak 9 points, tied with Kilishkovsky, and then JF Karan is out of the contest, unfortunately, 0 in the deadlift. They're giving him 1 point. I don't know if they do that. Usually if you 0 an event, it's 0, but he's out of the contest, and we just have 9 people. The biggest points gap anyone has ever won the Arnold by previously, I think, was 6 points when Brian Shaw won the event in 2017. And it looks like, we got 3 more events tomorrow. Thor already has a 7-point lead, and he's a favorite to win these. But again, we have I said going into this that we haven't seen max distance front carries in a long time at a high level in strongman, and the Wheel of Pain is another unknown. So those 2 unknown events are going to be a major factor on how this contest finishes out. And we have another wild card event tomorrow with the Wheel of Pain. Also have the log press, and it's going to be an interesting day 2. Exciting of times. Just the whole leaderboard got mixed up with Brian Shaw getting 2nd, then 2nd to last. No one saw that coming. But some people say it's disappointing because there's no 500 kilo deadlift, but I think it's a good thing. We should stop emphasizing records as much as we have in strongman. It's fun. It gets casual fans interested. But at the end of the day, it should be who is the best at actual strongman contests, not one-off contests. And another thing I want to note, if Thor finishes out this whole contest, that makes the heaviest strongman deadlift ever done in a full contest, with finishing the contest, I believe. So that is a big distinction. Eddie did that. The previous one, I think, was when he won in 2017 at World's Strongest Man, and he pulled, I believe, pretty close to the same weight. I'm Kalle Beck. Thanks for watching. Follow at Let Kalle Lift across social media. Follow at Starting Strongman, and go to store.startingstrongman.com for all of your strongman training needs.